Welcome to the Brain Health Hookup. I'm Laurel Myers-Hurst, your resident groovologist, and I believe that better mental health needs to be fun. Here we talk about mental wellness, we explore the physical, emotional, and relational needs we have as humans with the science and practices that help our mental health to flourish. Plus, we dive into my signature method, groove therapy, that engages folks in groove-based music making to lift mood and lower inflammation and pain. I'm so glad you're here. So let's hit it.
Well.
That's a deep subject.
I have the greatest empathy for people who are sleepless. I've been in a period of pushing extra hard in my business and running a little bit too lean on sleep, if you know what I mean, burning that candle at both ends. It's one thing to go through a period of shortened sleep when you're driving toward a particular goal, but many of my patients don't sleep well and haven't slept well, sometimes even since childhood. So we want to talk about sleep today. If you're among the people who struggles with sleep, I'd love to hold out some hope and also give you some information to give you a basis to talk to your doctor. If you don't know me, I'm Laurel. I'm the founder of Groove Therapy Health and Wellness, and I'm an integrative psychiatric nurse practitioner, meaning I help people with the root causes of the way they think, feel, and act that are problematic. So, how do psychiatric providers evaluate sleep? We want to go above and beyond to help our clients get the best sleep of their lives because when we're sleeping, our brain is being cleaned. We have seen new data available recently about the amazing function of the electrical impulses of the brain during sleep. During sleep, the brain actually sets up a wave of pulses to start washing the cerebral spinal fluid around your cranium. This reminds me of the way in the old days a light used to sweep around the airport. Your brain sort of sets up the same electromagnetic pulse to create a wave of that brain fluid to wash across. Why? Because the white cells that clean your brain, the immune cells, the white cells that clean your brain, don't have a good way to get around without being washed through by the cerebral spinal fluid. There's some theorizing that your dreams might be related to what those white blood cells are touching when they clean your brain. That's super interesting. Plus, as you sleep, as you go into deeper and deeper levels of sleep, your brain, the tissue, the kind of meat of the brain called the parenchyma, the meat of the brain actually shrinks to give more room for the cerebral spinal fluid and therefore the white blood cells to get around. Those white blood cells have really cool names like astrocytes, meaning they're star-shaped, and microglia, super cool names. Those cells, those white blood cells are only found in your brain. As you go through deeper and deeper levels of sleep, you get more and more restorative effect. So that sleep is so important to your brain health and keeping your mood on track. When providers look at your sleep, they look at three basic measures. One is sleep latency. That means from the time you decide to close your eyes to the time you get to sleep, about how long is that? A good sleep latency is definitely less than 30 minutes. Some people fall asleep in less than 10. That's beautiful. But a latency of less than 30 minutes is key to being on board with a patient's sleep being good. If their latency is more than 30 minutes once they finally decide to close their eyes, then I'm going to be looking at ways to help support a shorter latency or onset of sleep. We also measure the number of awakenings we have during the night. Like I said, the more deep sleep cycles you can string together, the more your parenchyma, the meaty tissue of your brain shrinks, and the more cleaning can be done. So awakenings are a really important thing to measure. If you have too many awakenings, you don't have the kind of deep restorative sleep you need. Many of my patients are showing me the data from their watches these days. They're saying, oh, I'm waking up 5 times, but I don't remember that, so it can't be right. Then when we get them better sleep, they're like, oh, that was right all along. I am feeling so much different. And my watch is showing that I'm actually sleeping now. So that's exciting. Wakening 1 time or 2 times a night might be normal to void or get a drink of water. And if you're waking up more than 1 to 2 times, or if you're staying awake more than 10 minutes at an awakening, I'm really concerned about whether your sleep quality and the cleaning of your brain is being done properly. So if you have more than 1 to 2 awakenings or more than 10 minutes awake at a time, I'm going to look at something else to do to support your sleep. There are things that do disrupt sleep. Little kids in your room, pets in your room. These things, we can probably deal with the pets a lot better than the children, but there are periods of time as parents with young children that, awakenings are going to be part of the landscape. We do, though, want to control for latency in those circumstances. And also, one more thing, the duration of sleep. So, devoting enough hours from the beginning of your sleep to the end of your sleep. If you have very young children and you know you're going to be awake 2 or 3 times a night or more, devoting more hours to sleep is very practical, even if that means for a time we cut back on extracurricular activities for older kids or extra responsibilities in a community venture. Devoting more hours to sleep when you have many, many awakenings is an important feature of that time in your life. So, bumper to bumper, we know that sleep may need to be between 7 hours and 9 hours for most people. So, duration is really important to measure. If you need to change habits to devote more hours to sleep, that's an issue that you can get coaching on, and making decisions with other family members about how that would look. That's an important part of preserving your health. The fourth question, I think, is less often asked, but it's really important to integrative care. That is, how restful is your sleep? I ask patients on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best vacation sleep of your life, how restful is your sleep? I find patients report very often 5 or 6, quite often 2 or 3, and many of them don't remember a time when they had a sleep that was 7 or above. If sleep latency is fairly short, if awakenings are quite low, and duration is adequate, but restfulness is 6 or below, I definitely want to look at root causes for chronic fatigue. And I feel that many people dismiss fatigue, saying, well, everybody's tired, everybody's run down, everybody's feeling this way. And that doesn't mean you have to be one of those people. So holding on to hope that you can achieve a state of restfulness is really important to my practice. When you come to an integrative appointment, definitely going to do a sleep screening, and knowing these numbers or having thought about them is really important. I want to invite you, don't forget about the Well-Tuned Woman, where we dive into sleep as a whole module at the beginning of our 4-month program, that 4 months of workshopping together. We look at sleep from the onset because it takes a while to adjust the habits and adjust the brain biology to make sure that you're sleeping like a baby. But by the time we're all through with the Well-Tuned Woman, we definitely want to see you. with a restfulness of 7 or above, maybe 8, 9, 10, and feeling that your brain has had the time to be cleaned, the way you think, feel, and act are not being affected by brain fog and fatigue. So sleep is so important to mental health, as you hear all the time, but maybe you hadn't heard about these 3 ways of measuring the sleep quality. Those are latency, how long it takes you to get to sleep; awakenings, how many times and how long you're awake during the night; and duration, plus that restfulness factor. Even if you're getting by the numbers the quality of sleep that you might be looking for, if you're not feeling rested, don't quit until you find the reason that you're not feeling your best when you wake up in the morning. That's all for now. Thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Brain Health Hookup. I hope this episode radiates with the conviction that generating mental wellness needs to be fun and safe. We want you to find your power and understand your innate design to flourish in everything you do. And we hope that inspires you to come back and listen for more. I'd love for you to leave a review of this podcast, as it helps the show grow to reach more people who need to make mental wellness fun. You can find a leave a review button, as well as all the YouTube visuals, bonuses, and ways we can help to support you on our website, podcast.grooveforhealth.com. I appreciate you more than words can say. See you next time, and remember, together we have everything we need.